If you're chasing data down instead of seeing it in one place, you need the Intuit ERP. Intuit Enterprise Suite. All your data in one place with built-in AI for real-time insights. Learn more at intuit.com/ERP.
Hello and welcome to this preview episode of a Patreon mailbag that Johnny and I recorded for our Patreon community. Given that it's the off season, I wanted to at least put out a preview of this since we haven't put out as many episodes lately, and it wouldn't just be 1 week that was a one-off thing where we weren't on the feed. And so we are still active. It is the off season. Johnny's doing the Scouting Academy. We're putting out a lot of all 22 things in our Patreon. So if you're interested in any of that, feel free to go check it out at patreon.com/Eagles Film Room. You can grab a free 1-week trial of any membership tier, and the full mailbag episode is in our $3 tier, as well as access to our Discord server where we're in there chatting about things all the time, especially now that OTAs are starting up and we're getting press conferences and things. We've got a great community that you can hang out with and chat. Then we also have a $5 and $7 a month tier that have various perks, including ad-free podcasts and some of these film breakdowns that I've talked about. And so if you would like more content from us, please head over there and help support our work directly. If that's not for you, feel free to hang out on this public feed. We will have things coming out with more frequency again once we get closer to the season, and you can also enjoy this sample of our mailbag right here for free. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you'll consider supporting us over on Patreon. But either way, enjoy this episode. What is up, Patreon? Welcome to another edition of the Mailbag. Every month of the off season, Johnny and I ask for your questions in Discord. And this month we got a lot of good questions. Johnny, this is the first month we've had to axe more than just like a couple questions.
Yeah,
so
it's sorry if it does get axed. It's one of those things, isn't it, where it's sometimes quantity over quality. No, other way around. Quality over quantity. And also we try and get to, like, if someone asks 3, we'll try and get to one of them that we think is maybe different to something the other people have asked or something we've answered in the previous mailbag. So it's tough. So yeah. Apologies if yours gets canned. Ask it again if we've never asked it and you never know, or ask something different. But we try not to can any when someone's only asked 1. We try and be as fair as we can, but people could ask like 3 questions and this show would be 15 hours. So we have to try and get rid of a few. Otherwise, it goes very long, doesn't it?
Yeah. To be fair, most of the questions we deleted were like from almost a month ago, things that just aren't really very relevant anymore. Like, whose draft are you most surprised by? Like, it was obviously the Rams because they lost their minds. But that question was asked pre-draft. So
yeah.
Stuff like that, or when we put in our last play, we always get people that'll ask a ton of questions that are just random to try to fill out the mailbag in case we need it. So this month, a lot of those got deleted. But regardless, we got 20 questions we're going to try to get through. Some of them will be shorter, as always. Some of them will be a little bit longer. And I think the first one is going to be one of those longer ones because Pick 6 to Gene asked us to rank every first-round pick since you started watching Eagles football.
So when did you start? That's the first question.
So it depends on what you mean by start. I eliminated anything before 2006. Like, I was watching football, but it was just casually watching. Like, I enjoyed the Eagles, but I wasn't out here evaluating individual players. And so I eliminated anything prior to 2006. Not that I wasn't watching before then, but I was too young and casual to really give much of a take.
Yeah, okay, so fair enough. I started in 2010. Okay. So I've got obviously a list of them here. I didn't include, was it Project Bunkley in 2006? Or I didn't include Jeremy Maclin, but I did watch Jeremy Maclin, so I could include him now pretty easily. And I think I've got everyone else. So how do you want to do this? First of all, it's a good question. How did you rank them? Did you rank them like personal preference? Did you work on like Eagles career? Like how did you do it?
I just tried to go best to worst.
A lot longer, haven't they? I did, but let's maybe talk about it. So I tiered mine as well because I hate rankings without tiers.
Because you're a coward. Have a take,
rankings
coward.
Without tiers should be abolished. So I don't know if you want to go through I'm going to add Maclin in somewhere here.
So,
God, Maclin, where would I put him?
The Eagles did not have a first round pick in 7 or 8. So Maclin is the only guy I have that you don't.
So we might as well just throw him in there.
And also, I did not list Jihad Campbell. he's not in my list.
All right, fair enough. He is also apparently not on my list. So apparently I didn't as well, which is worrying because I thought I did all of them. But anyway, if anyone really, really, really quickly wants a rundown, Jeremy Macklin, 09, Brandon Graham, 10, 2011, Danny Watkins, 12, Fletcher Cox, 13, Lane Johnson. What about that for a back-to-back, my word. 14, Marcus Smith, 15, Aguilar, 16, Wentz, 17, Derek Barnett, Skip, 18. Then we got Andre Dillard, Jaden Rager, Devontae Smith, Jordan Davis, Carter Smith, Quinion, and then we're not doing Jahar Campbell or Makai Lemon, right? So seeing as I tiered them, shall I cheat and give you mine and then you can just like sort of go back and forth as in did you agree or have it the exact same?
Sure. I do also want to point out that he said rank every pick, not tier every pick. But I'm a man of the people, and Johnny's a coward without a take.
I can change my bullet points into numbers if you give a shit. Like, okay, I've numbered them now, Shane. Are we happy? So they are also numbered as well as in a tier. So I had like S tier, which seems to be the new thing that people do online rather than like A. So I've gone for it as well because I'm hippie and trendy. So I had 3 players in my S tier.
Okay.
I feel like that should be quite straightforward. I had Lane Johnson, Fletcher Cox, and then Brandon Graham third.
Those are my top 3 in that order.
Yes. And for anyone, we don't need to get into great detail. Well, the mailbag will be 15,000 minutes, but Lane is the best player on the list. Fletcher Cox is the second best player on the list. BG may be a fan favourite, but was never as good as Fletcher Cox was at his position. And Lane Johnson might be the best right tackle of all time. So they were my S tier. And I feel like there's a pretty giant gap, in all honesty.
I think there's a good chance several players that we'll mention next will pass Brandon Graham on this list as their careers progress.
Maybe 2 of them. Yeah.
But it's premature at this point in anybody else on the list. So
the reason why tiers are great is because this next one I think are really similar. So now I'm going to have another player. So I've got 5 in this tier because
okay.
I guess I'd put, because of how long he played, right? I guess I'd put Jeremy Macklin. Would I put Jeremy Macklin that high? I was going to have him 4th, which seems sort of extraordinarily high, but because it's almost not fair, I guess, because I'm ranking them because they played longer. So I maybe wouldn't. Maybe I'd put Macklin down. So I hated this tier. Let's just read it as I had it, and then you can tell me why I'm wrong, because I think I'm wrong. But I went Jalen Carter, Quinion Mitchell, Devontae Smith, and then Jordan Davis in that tier, which I went back and forth on a lot. Yeah, how different are you?
Okay, so I have Quinion Mitchell is number 4 for me.
Did I say Quinion or did I say Jalen?
I don't remember now. I think you said Jalen Carter.
I think I read the wrong way around. I have Quinion 5, Jalen 6, Devontae 7, and Jordan Davis 8. But that's because I had Macklin 4. But I'm going to move Macklin down. So okay. I would get rid of Macklin from there. So I had Quinion, Carter, Devontae, Jordan Davis.
Mine's the same. I just have Carter and Devontae flipped. So I went Quinion Mitchell, Devontae Smith, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis.
No Jeremy Macklin in that bunch for you.
He's a little bit further down for me.
Wow. Okay. I would have him in there. So I'd have him below Devontae Smith because I think of how long he played. But I'd have him above Jordan Davis. So I've got Quinion 4, Jalen Carter 5, Devontae Smith 6, Jeremy Macklin 7, Jordan Davis 8. Is Jeremy Macklin next for you? Is he 9?
I went Carson Wentz, then Jeremy Macklin.
Okay, so
with Macklin, I love Macklin. 5 years as an Eagle, only eclipsed 1,000 yards in that 5th season, and then he only played a couple seasons after he left Philly, and only eclipsed 1,000 yards one more time. So I had him. I mean, I like Macklin. I just had him a little bit lower. So I went Lane Johnson, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Quinion Mitchell, Devontae Smith, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis.
That's how only changed so far is Macklin and Carter and Devontae Smith. And I've put Jalen Carter above Devontae Smith just because I think Jalen Carter at his position is higher than Devontae Smith will ever get. In terms of, I think Jalen Carter has already shown he's like a top 5 player and Devontae Smith is not a top 5 receiver. But Devontae Smith is probably significantly more consistent throughout his career. But I had a B tier, which to be honest is sort of like everyone else. So this is from 9 onwards because I've got Macklin above. And I still sort of hate it. And I've got one of them in here, but not just because of his Eagles career. So I've got Carson Wentz 9, Nolan Smith 10, Nelson Aguilar 11, and I squeezed Derek Barnett at 12 in that tier. Don't love Derek Barnett, obviously, but turned out to be a half decent player overall. Where did you have that group?
Basically in that order. I went Carson Wentz, then Jeremy Macklin, then Nolan Smith, Nelson Aguilar, Derek Barnett.
Yep. And then I had I had Andre Dillard in like a C tier. Was he your next?
I had Marcus Smith ahead of Andre Dillard.
Really? Did Marcus Smith do anything?
Did Andre Dillard do anything? Yeah.
Andre Dillard got a contract at least.
Yeah.
Sure. So I went Marcus Smith below Andre Dillard, and then I had Danny Watkins and Jalen Reagor point last.
I had Reagor ahead of Watkins.
I had Reagor last because I dislike him as a football
Yeah.
player, and I don't dislike many players. Danny Watkins, I'm like, who the hell drafted him? It's on you. Guy didn't want to play. You drafted him. Reagor, I hated watching Jalen Reagor. Hated watching him. Lazy route runner. Yeah, so I put him bottom because he deserved to go bottom. What's interesting is like, and we'll move on to another question. We'll be here forever. But there was like a big gap of like not very good, and then it got really good again, wasn't it? There was like that spell of like Fletcher Cox and Lane Johnson, like, oh my God, like we're the best drafting team in the world. And like Marcus Smith, Nelson Aguilar, Carson Wentz, Derek Barnett, no one, Andre Dillard. That's a pretty big wilderness.
Yeah.
Like 14 to 19, the Eagles didn't really strike on a first round pick. I know Wentz, take as you will. Even 20, was Reagor. So 14 to 20. And then since then, it's just been like bang. Devontae Smith, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Quinion Mitchell, Jahar Campbell, Mekhi Lemon. And they're not picking high, really. Like Smith 30, Quinion 22. I mean, like, it's pretty impressive. I don't know if they've had a look at what they did, but they had a really barren run. It was really good, then really barren, and then really good again. So long may it continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, put in the comments your own rankings, but I'm guessing, to be honest, it's actually quite an easy exercise because I think there's not many you can disagree on.
Yeah. I think at most you and I had like a couple guys flipped.
Yeah.
So, okay, next question coming from Pick 6 to Gene also asks, besides the Eagles, which team would you prefer to watch film on?
It can be super quick. Mine changes every year. There isn't a team that I look out for. Last couple of years, always been the Rams. I'm a McVay guy. And then last probably year or two, it's been Ben Johnson. So Lions or Bears. Defense, I go back and forth. I sort of really like watching Mike McDonald the last couple of years, but I also like watching Browns because sometimes we get too schematically cool. And Jim Schwartz is like, I'm just going to rush floor and pay cover one or cover three. And my guys are better than your guys. And sometimes I like simplicity. So I've quite liked watching the Browns D, but I don't have a set team that I watch, in all honesty. Obviously, NFC East, I watch more than anyone else because I watch them twice a year, at least. And then for the preview, even more last year. But for the most part, I follow coordinators and scheme rather than teams.
Yeah, it's the Rams for me, partially for the scheme and partially just to watch the ridiculous throws that Stafford makes. So if I was going to watch offensive film on a non-Eagles team, my first choice would be the Rams. After that, I don't really know. I'm not sure which direction I would go from there, but the Rams are the ones I enjoy to watch a little, probably the most.
Yep, I think we're the same in that we follow players and scheme probably more than a specific team.
Yeah.
Next question is a really good one. Go for it.
Yeah, BJ Russell asks, what are the main reasons that players get severely misdrafted? And as an example, gave Richard Sherman and Jalen Reagor.
Where do you start with this?
Yeah, well, here, I went and looked up the pre-draft scouting report on Sherman because that was a little before my time. And so from everything I read on Sherman, the knock on him was natural coverage instincts and athleticism. And I think the athleticism stuff was founded. Hit 26th percentile 40, 13th percentile short shuttle at the combine. The coverage instincts thing was either just flat wrong or he developed that a ton. I think the athleticism thing was still probably valid. Like the Seahawks played him in a way that protected him from some of that. He didn't just go man up guys all game long. He stayed on the same side of the field. He played cover 3. And that's not negating what he was at his peak. He's one of, if not the best corner in the league at the time.
Unbelievable.
And that just goes to show how you can protect players from weaknesses with a scheme. Really good players have a weakness, and he was in the right situation to help mitigate that. Yeah, so I'm not sure on the lack of coverage instincts thing. I wasn't doing draft work at the time.
You ran a 4.6. Sherman ran a 4.6. Like, we could talk about this forever, but a lot of reports aren't wrong. I get really idea of this idea of wrong. Like, evaluation, what are you trying to do? Like, if you read some of Sherman's scouting reports, it won't be terrible. Just be that the league didn't prioritize that type of player. It could be college. It could be scheme. It could be how much he played. It could be who played in front of him. It could be the coaching staff. It could be like how you think they're going to transmit. The thing is, it is a bit of a crapshoot to an extent. There are things you can do well, but I don't think if you read Sherman's scouting report, you go, well, everyone got him wrong. It was a 4.6 tall corner who was a little bit, some schemes will go, don't want him. But if you're in a cover 3 scheme where you're press manning him every time, and he ends up being incredibly good with ball skills and stuff. Like, you're winning. I don't think if you go back, and I might be wrong, and you read it, I don't think you have a disastrous like scouting report. I'm reading Lance Zerline's here from NFL.com, and it's like, it's pretty similar. So yeah, there are tons and tons of reasons. It could be you're drafting a player that played in one scheme, played another scheme. By the way, the college game is also different. I think that's important to point out. The field is bigger. The discrepancy between top and bottom is significantly higher. You'd have a lot of weak competition. Some players beat up on weak competition. Everyone's better in the NFL. It's really hard. If you're watching the best offensive tackles, how many pass rushers are you watching them against that are actually as good as NFL pass rushers? Like, not many, maybe 1 or 2 games. Whereas in NFL, it's every week you're playing basically a top edge rusher. Loads of different reasons. And the biggest one is just what players are like. Some they're human beings. They get money. They don't want to invest. Some players take care of their body more than others. Some people invest in watching film more than others. There are so many things. I think the most important thing for me is to get the evaluation sort of right. Where teams value someone is like, that's not really relevant in some ways, shape or form. Is the player playing like I saw he would play, or has he totally changed? Like, Carson Wentz is exactly what Carson Wentz's scouting report was. Everyone knew he was scattershot. Jared Goff is the exact same. Just turns out that Goff ended up with a better scheme. Goff maybe works a little bit harder. Goff was more willing to take coaching than Wentz was. And look at where they are now. One's still playing. And I couldn't believe that Goff went before Wentz in that draft. To me, the way I saw QB was like, well, it's Wentz. I can't believe anyone was thinking anything different of it. But now you see it now. And it's like, yeah, it's different.
I remember being terrified when we traded up to pick 2 that the Rams would take Wentz instead of Goff and we'd be stuck with Goff.
I was terrified, but that's life, isn't it?
Well, that is going to do it for our preview of the Patreon mailbag. The full show is about an hour and 15 minutes if you want to head over and listen to a bunch of the questions that we answered, how we like our burgers cooked, our favorite vacations, various other topics. Go check that out. Otherwise, we'll be back in your feed soon with some more free public content. So thanks for supporting us however you choose to do so. We'll catch you guys next time.
Eczema is unpredictable, but you can flare less with Ebglyss, a once-monthly treatment for moderate to severe eczema. After an initial 4-month or longer dosing phase, about 4 in 10 people taking Ebglyss achieved itch relief and clear or almost clear skin at 16 weeks. And most of those people maintain skin that's still more clear at 1 year with monthly dosing.
Ebglyss, lebrikizumab LBKZ, a 250 milligram per 2 milliliter injection, is a prescription medicine used to treat adults and children 12 years of age and older who weigh at least 88 pounds or 40 kilograms with moderate to severe eczema, also called atopic dermatitis, that is not well controlled with prescription therapies used on the skin or topicals, or who cannot use topical therapies. Ebglyss can be used with or without topical corticosteroids. Don't use if you're allergic to Ebglyss. Allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive a live vaccine when treated with Ebglyss. Before starting Ebglyss, tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection.
Ask your doctor about Ebglyss and visit ebglyss.lilly.com or call 1-800-LILY-RX or 1-800-545-5979.
No one goes to Hank's for his spreadsheets. They go for a darn good pizza. Lately, though, the shop's been quiet, so Hank decides to bring back the $1 slice. He asks Copilot in Microsoft Excel to look at his sales and costs and help him see if he can afford it. Copilot shows Hank where the money's going and which little extras make the dollar slice work. Now Hank's has a line out the door. Hank makes the pizza, Copilot handles the spreadsheets. Learn more at m365copilot.com/work.
Adobe Firefly is the all-in-one creative studio with AI-powered image and video editing for today's creative process. Built for creators of every kind, Firefly helps you generate, edit, and experiment fast. Because the asks aren't getting smaller, the budgets aren't getting bigger, and the timelines, oh yeah, still tight. With all the best creative AI models in one place, Firefly brings your ideas to life. Unlock a better way to make with Adobe Firefly.